And the concluding comment I'll make is, there's a lot of folks who thought that, well, the president's made great strides with his law and order strides here. That boy, after his convention, he really made inroads. He hasn't. Not at all. He hasn't. Not at all. No, I'm not serious. I'm being...
What's up, Patriots?
Hello, Patriots and Ons and digital soldiers.
This is Carrie.
And this is Joel.
And we are the Quiet Boys.
Of Truth.
Oh, man. The media is at it again, Joel.
Naughty.
They sure are. All right, guys. So, as we face yet another desperate attempt to dishonor, discredit, and disparage our beloved president, we must keep this in mind. The left is, as usual, doing what they do best. Panicking, projecting, and plotting. Does that sound about right, Joel?
And also panicking again.
Panicking. Yes.
Yes.
That was the first thing on my list.
It also should be the last thing.
Panicking, projecting, plotting, and panicking. Indeed. As we know, guys, members of the once honorable, respected media are now nothing more than deep state puppets. Controlled assets of a leftist propaganda agenda that is as ridiculous as it is desperate. Sound good so far, Joel?
As ridiculous as they are.
Faced with the knowledge that they have a snowball's chance in hell of winning the upcoming election, they are deploying the only asset they have left, making up ridiculous lies and passing them off as truth. Oh wait, they've been doing that all along, haven't they?
Well, yeah.
But seems to me that the most recent attempt is arguably the most desperate yet. A story written by Jeff Goldberg, of all people, from The Atlantic magazine, claiming that President Trump called Americans who died in war losers and suckers. Let's check out that article, but first, we forgot to give a huge shout out to our subscribers. We love you guys so much, and we are so grateful for your support.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Really do appreciate it. And thank you for buying, from our Gold Q collection. We really appreciate that, guys.
You guys are amazing.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm hoping everybody loves their shirts as much as we love ours. I'm actually wearing mine again right now as we're doing this. So here we are at The Atlantic. You want to read this one, Joel?
Trump. Americans who died in war are losers and suckers. The president has repeatedly disparaged the intelligence of service members and asked that wounded veterans be kept out of military parades. Multiple sources tell The Atlantic. Who are your multiple sources, dude? Who are they? I want to know who they are first foremost. Who the heck are they? Because that's something we have to start questioning, Patriots. And you all know this. Start picking these apart. Ask for names. Who are the sources? Who told you that? And then let's see where they heard that. Did they actually hear that and they make it up? I'm just going out on a limb here and going to say that they don't have these sources. They're making it up.
Well, that's why I said the story by Goldberg, not the article, because when I said story, what I meant was, story, as in the fictional kind, meant to entertain, or in this case, slander our beloved President of the United States.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this story has no basis in reality, guys. No actual sources, and it's so ridiculously outlandish that even people who dislike President Trump are questioning its validity. Now, why would that be?
Because it's fake. When President Donald Trump canceled a visit to the Aine Marne American Cemetery near Paris in 2018, he blamed rain for the last-minute decision, saying that the helicopter couldn't fly and that the Secret Service wouldn't drive him there. Neither claim was true, says Jeff Goldberg from The Atlantic, but he's lying.
Trump rejected the idea of the visit because he feared his hair would become disheveled in the rain and because he did not believe it important to honor American war dead, according to 4 people with first-hand knowledge of the discussion that day. Who are these 4 people?
Nobody knows.
These 4 people who are refusing to come forward, possibly because they don't exist, right?
Probably.
This is, it's so contrived, such a made-up story. There are no 4 people, guys. In a conversation with senior staff members on the morning of the scheduled visit, Trump said, "Why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers." In a separate conversation on the same trip, Trump referred to the more than 1,800 Marines who lost their lives at Bella Wood as suckers for getting killed.
I just want to say, I think if he were to say something like that, when he said it's filled with losers, if he did say that, I'm sure he was referring to the press.
This is obviously
it's a smear
something.
piece.
This is not something that our president said or would ever say.
Also, guys, remember what month it is? It's September. This month is going to be really, really, really hot for media smears against our president.
Right, so just real quick, let's hear from somebody who was actually there
and who doesn't
at
like
the
our
time of the
president.
scheduled visit and doesn't even like the president, and let's hear what he had to say. So here we have an excerpt from a Fox News article, and this has to do with former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who was actually on that trip, who has openly opposed Trump. We know he doesn't like President Trump, and he's not going to vote for President Trump in the election come November. He has clearly said that on several occasions. He also happened to write a memoir about his time in the White House, and in a passage in that memoir, he actually defended Trump over this decision not to go to the cemetery that day. So we just found it kind of interesting that this person who has openly shown his disregard for the president actually, maybe without even meaning to, defended Trump about his decision not to go. So this is what Bolton had to say. Marine One's crew was saying that bad visibility could make it imprudent to chopper to the cemetery, Bolton wrote. The ceiling was not too low for Marines to fly in combat, but flying POTUS was obviously something very different. If a motorcade were necessary, it could take between 90 and 120 minutes each way, along roads that were not exactly freeways, posing an unacceptable risk that we could not get the president out of France quickly enough in case of an emergency. It was a straightforward decision to cancel the visit. Bolton later added, the press turned canceling the cemetery visit into a story that Trump was afraid of the rain and took glee in pointing out that other world leaders traveled around during the day. Of course, none of them were the President of the United States. But the press didn't understand that rules for U.S. presidents are different from rules for 190 other leaders who don't command the world's greatest military forces. Said by John Bolton, former National Security Advisor who has openly opposed Trump.
Have 3 questions for Jeff Goldberg, and I'm going to shoot them out there right now, so pay attention. 1. Who are your anonymous sources? Bring them forward if they exist. If they don't, quit writing smears. 2. Why don't you know the rules for a U.S. president overseas? 3. Why you gotta lie?
And with that in mind, as if the lack of sources for this made-up story wasn't enough to make us question its validity, there's also the fact that the Biden campaign came out with an ad within hours, guys, within hours of this Atlantic story that came out.
Which means they had it pre-planned, just
It
like
almost
they did
seems that way.
with ordering those COVID test kits back in 2018. That they changed to medical test kits, by the way. We caught them.
So notice how all of these statements are being presented as absolute fact. They're being presented as absolute truth. They're in quotation marks, and keep in mind, this is the ad that came out within hours of the Atlantic story. Okay? This is atrocious. I mean, it's so obviously contrived and pre-planned. Did they think we wouldn't notice how quickly this ad was generated? They really, really think that we're stupid, guys.
Pretty dumb. Even Benny came out and said something about that. He's like, I've got one of the best production teams around, and we couldn't even make something that fast.
Right, there's actually another one. Let's see if we can find it. It was put out by some veterans. Let's see if we can find that one. It's even worse if that's possible. Here it is, guys. This one is even worse. And once again, my question is, how did they put this together so quickly after this article came out? Let's watch it.
My stepson was not a loser.
My son is not a loser.
My son, Matthew, is not a loser.
My stepson was not a sucker. Lance Corporal Alexander Scott Arredondo died in Najaf, Iraq in 2004.
My son, Sergeant James Anthony Ayub II, gave his life in Kandahar, Afghanistan in 2010.
Mi hijo, Jesús Alberto Suárez del Solar, y murió en la guerra de Irak.
Honorably serving his country.
That is something Donald Trump will never know.
That's something that Donald Trump will never understand.
My message to Donald Trump is this: you have no right being a commander-in-chief.
Usted no conoce lo que es el sacrificio.
Wow.
How'd they get all those guys interviewed so quick?
Exactly. My question, exactly.
It's almost like they had it already teed up, huh?
Yeah, I think they definitely already had it teed up. This just shows us, guys, that they have reached a new level of desperation. A new low, if you will, which we didn't think was possible, did we?
So here's an ad you won't see anywhere.
My name is Jeffrey Cavello. I was a specialist in the United States Army.
I'm retired Marine First Sergeant Marcus Wilson.
My name's Christian Valle, and I was a sergeant in the U.S. Army.
As a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout with the 10th Mountain Division, I got blown up 4 days after my 20th birthday in Afghanistan in 2011. I read the post that came out yesterday of The Atlantic on their take on what he said of people, of the soldiers that had passed away and stuff like that. When I read the reviews and people posting about that article, it didn't make me happy seeing people saying that, how they were so gullible. And part of the article, it said some people were asked, like what people were asked. Now it's not about if it's factual anymore. Donald J. Trump since has done so much for our VA. During this pandemic, when it was starting off, my first worry was if I'm gonna have enough medications, if my prosthetics are gonna be fixed, are they gonna be able to work on them, in case the government programs were getting shut down like they have before in the past, where we were denied medications and prosthetic work because of that, because of things in the government. Like we as veterans would love to know that we're gonna keep getting taken care of.
I retired from the Marine Corps in 2015, but in November of 2006, I was injured in Iraq by an IED. I was in a vehicle. At that time, the 3 Marines that were in the vehicle with me were killed, and I lost my left leg above the knee, ultimately. Fractured my right femur, broke both of my arms, broke my left hand, broke 6 ribs, punctured both of my lungs, and fractured 6 vertebrae in my back, and I had burns and cuts all over my body. At that time, I was a staunch Democrat. You could not tell me anything outside of that. But I've learned and I've watched since that time the things that have been happening in this country, and I want to be the person to do something about it. The president has done more in his short time in office, than what's been done in Washington in the last 25 years regarding minorities and regarding veterans. And for that, I give my unwavering support to President Trump.
I served in Iraq, and I got wounded by a grenade that took my leg immediately. My other leg was wounded badly and was amputated later on. Watching the media try to make Donald Trump look like he hates veterans is a dumb thing to do. Our military and VA systems were a mess. President Trump came in and fixed those systems. Every day, his administration is there to help our military men and women fight our battles abroad with support and help. I highly put my support in President Trump in the upcoming election, and I'm confident he can take our nation a step further in the near future.
My name is Jeffrey Cavello, and I fully support Donald J. Trump as our President of the United States.
I give my unwavering support to President Trump.
I support President Trump because he always stands for us.
Yep, this is one they will not show you on TV.
Nope. Here we are back at the Atlantic article, and we're just going to read this last paragraph for you. Trump has been, for the duration of his presidency, fixated on staging military parades, but only of a certain sort. In a 2018 White House planning meeting for such an event, Trump asked his staff not to include wounded veterans on grounds that spectators would feel uncomfortable in the presence of amputees. Nobody wants to see that, he said. Now, let's compare this with something Trump said in 2007.
You know, nobody talks about the soldiers that are coming back with no arms and no legs. And I saw at Mar-a-Lago on Mondays, I make Mar-a-Lago my club that you know about.
In Palm Beach.
I make that twice now. On a Monday, I let returning Iraqi injured soldiers come to the premises. The most beautiful people I've ever seen. But they're missing arms and legs. They're with their wives. Sometimes they're with their girlfriends. And the tears are coming down the faces of these people. I mean, the thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands. And the Iraqis that have been just maimed and killed. This war is a horrible thing. Now,
the most beautiful people I've ever seen.
Huh, sounds like a very complete different contrast than what the media is saying.
Does this sound like a person who wouldn't want them in his parade?
And these are right from his own mouth, guys. These words from our president's mouth. Before he was president.
The most beautiful people in the world. Let that sink in, guys.
Yeah, let it sink in. Take note, media. This is exactly who our president is. Not what you guys are portraying him as. You guys are liars. You will be held accountable.
Should we talk about what President Trump has actually done for the VA real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. This is an opinion piece from The Hill, surprisingly, by Robert Wilkie, and it's titled, "Enough is Enough, Trump Gave Veterans Real and Permanent Choice." It's been more than a year since President Trump ushered in the greatest improvement to veteran health care since World War II, and the media still refuse to credit him with this accomplishment. What Trump has done for the VA is monumental. Basically, what was in place when Trump came into office was called the Veterans Choice Program. Now, this program was supposedly to help veterans who were waiting more than 30 days for an appointment, or those that lived for more than 40 miles away from a VA facility. This program basically did nothing to actually help veterans. So as it says here, it created new hurdles for veterans seeking care in the community. So it basically created more barriers for them to receive the care that they needed. Okay, so let's compare that to what Trump did. Trump signed an order called the Mission Act. Now, the Mission Act created the Veterans Community Care Program, which is permanent and more comprehensive than the Veterans Choice Program. It allows veterans to elect to receive care at non-VA facilities when they aren't close to a VA facility, have to wait too long for VA care, or when it's in their best medical interest. And as it says here, guys, that's a critical difference. This has been huge, like monumental for veterans being able to get the care they need. And all veterans know this. Veterans know that Trump is the one who did this.
Actually, you know, unfortunately, some actually don't.
Oh, you're right. Actually, you are. You're right.
I am. I know. Anyway.
The second time tonight, I've told Joel he's right.
Yeah.
And I'm wrong.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot who don't know because
right.
they're still buying into the mainstream narrative, still plugged into MSNBC and CNN and all of these news outlets who won't talk about this or the fact that Trump has done this. Some of them aren't even taking advantage of this because they have no idea it's an actual thing, unfortunately.
That's terrible.
It is terrible.
I mean, this is huge. This Mission Act has changed. It's changed everything for veterans who need medical care. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just want to say right now, real quick, if you are a former military, current military, or law enforcement, God bless you, brother. Stay strong. Or sister. You guys are all amazing, and we do appreciate your service to our country.
We love you and appreciate you just as much as the president does.
Absolutely.
Let's end with some words from our president that are a more accurate portrayal of how he feels about the military and our fallen soldiers.
To every Gold Star family who honors us with your presence, you lost sons and daughters, husbands and wives, mothers and fathers. They each had their own names, their own stories, their own beautiful dreams. But they were all angels sent to us by God, and they all share one title in common, and that is the title of hero. Real heroes. Though they were here only a brief time before God called them home, their legacy will endure forever.
We all know how much our president loves our country and our military, as well as honors and respects our veterans, especially those who have died protecting the rights and freedoms that we all hold so dear. For the media to latch onto something so disgustingly horrible, glaringly false, and blatantly disrespectful about our president just means that they have reached a new level of desperation. This also serves as a reminder that nothing is off limits to them, and that we must be increasingly diligent, discerning, and proactive in the days to come. As we draw closer to the election, the attacks are only going to intensify, and we must not be afraid to continue seeking out the truth, spreading the truth, and defending the honor and good name of our president.
Also, a little bit of food for thought. If our president hated the military and military service members, then why the heck is he the only one who's done right by them after so many years of mistreatment? Just chew on it. Think about it.
Right, and they're going to continue putting out stories supposedly from military families talking about how disappointed they are with President Trump and how much they don't support him any longer after this article. Just be aware, guys, that is totally false.
It's very false, and just want to say also to Jeffrey Goldberg over at The Atlantic, I hope the money was worth it, dude, and goodbye to the Atlantic.
The truth is, the president loves our military, and our military loves the president.
Yep.
That is the truth. Everything else is false.
Yeah.
It's a made-up narrative.
Yep. So many lies are going to be coming out this month, Patriots. Just be on your guard. And
yep. The hits are going to keep coming, guys.
Use discernment. Don't trust anything until you can verify it for yourself.
All right, after all that, Joel is going to find something funny for us to end this episode.
All right.
We can always count on Joel for our comedy.
And here it is. This was Joe Biden on To Catch a Predator.
So you brought condoms. What else did you bring?
Look, this is not, but that, they...
And then you sent these pictures.
Anyway, I don't believe there's anybody out there believes that I have anything other than consistent interest in making sure every child has. These are all our children.
You talk about taking her out to buy sexy bras and panties and thongs.
When I ask him about his obscene screen name, he starts to laugh.
Well,
you think this is funny?
You know, I'm just not going to go there. If we keep doing that, there's
something I got to tell you. I'm Chris Hansen, and I work for a show called Dateline NBC.
Oh, come on, man.
Guys, we also opened up a Teespring account, which you can go check out. Go pick yourself up a gold Q shirt.
I'm wearing mine
hoodie,
right now.
Sticker, phone case, fanny pack, or a mask. Yeah, it helps us out. It helps keeps this channel going, and so we can bring this information to you guys.
Definitely. Just another way to support us, guys, that we really appreciate. And That gold Q face mask is pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. It's freaking awesome. If you got to do it,
If you have to wear one, yeah, you might
as well represent.
Have one instead.
That's right. But guys, yeah, if you happen to be new here, if you're enjoying this content, if you're enjoying our show, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, toggle the notification bell so you're notified when we put out new videos. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Yes.
Patriots and Ons and Digital Soldiers, please do not forget, where we go one,
we go all. Love you, Patriots. God bless.